You ever hear a sound that doesn't belong? One that shouldn't be there, but no matter how much you tell yourself it's nothing, it lingers, like a whisper clawing at the back of your skull. That's how it started for me, not with screams, not with shadows, just a sound. It was late, too late for anyone sane to still be awake. The house was silent, the kind of silence where even the walls feel like they're holding their breath. I was sitting in my room, scrolling through my phone, when I heard it. 3 knocks, slow, heavy, muffled, but definitely from below, from the basement. At first I thought I imagined it. This house is old, wood shifts, pipes groan, and the wind can make you hear things that aren't really there. But then it came again. 3 more, deliberate, rhythmic. I froze. The basement door was just down the hall, and from where I sat, I swear I could feel the air pressing against it, like the knocks had pushed something closer to the surface. You have to understand something. I hate basements. Always have. As a kid, I'd race up the stairs after grabbing something, convinced something was right behind me, waiting to drag me back down. I told myself I'd outgrown that fear, that I was older now, rational. But that night, when I heard those knocks, it all came flooding back. I got up, telling myself I'd prove it was nothing, that it was the pipes, or maybe even a raccoon scratching under the house. Anything but what my imagination whispered. The hall felt longer than usual as I walked toward the door. The closer I got, the colder the air became, until my skin prickled like I'd stepped into a freezer. The door stood there, tall and dark, a faint line of red light glowing from the cracks around its edges. That wasn't right. The basement didn't have windows. It didn't even have a working light bulb. But there it was, an unmistakable crimson glow seeping out like blood. I should have turned back. I should have locked my bedroom door and forced myself to forget. But curiosity is a cruel thing. It whispers louder than fear. I placed my hand on the knob, and it was warm. Too warm, like someone had been gripping it from the other side. My pulse hammered in my ears, and every instinct told me to stop. But I didn't. I turned the knob. The door creaked open, and the red light bled into the hallway, swallowing the shadows in its glow. It wasn't just light, it felt heavy, almost alive, wrapping around me like a suffocating blanket. And then, silence. No more knocks. No movement. Just the basement staring back at me, pulsing in that unnatural red, daring me to step closer. And against every ounce of reason I had left, I did. The first step down felt like crossing a line I could never return from. The air thickened, heavy with a metallic tang, like rust or blood. My throat tightened, and I could taste it on my tongue with every breath. The red glow didn't come from a single source. It seemed to seep from the walls themselves, pulsing faintly, like veins lit from within. Each creak of the old wooden steps sounded too loud, echoing in a way that didn't make sense. It was as though the basement had grown larger, deeper, stretching farther than it ever had before. Halfway down, I paused. I thought I heard movement, shuffling, faint, like bare feet dragging across concrete. My skin crawled. I whispered out, "Hello." My voice cracked, fragile against the suffocating quiet. No answer. But I wasn't alone. I could feel it. At the bottom, the concrete floor was colder than ice, even through my socks. The red glow illuminated the room just enough for me to see shapes. Old boxes stacked like crooked tombstones, broken furniture draped in dusty sheets, a workbench cluttered with tools. All ordinary things. But in that light, nothing looked ordinary. Everything cast long, warped shadows that twitched when I wasn't looking directly at them. Then the knocks came again. Not behind me this time. Not on the walls. Directly in front of me, just beyond the furthest stack of boxes. 3, deliberate, like someone waiting and wanting me to come closer. I told myself to leave, to turn around, climb those stairs, and never look back. But my legs betrayed me. Each step forward was heavy, like walking underwater, but unstoppable. The shuffling grew louder, closer. My eyes strained against the red haze until I saw it. A silhouette. Tall, unmoving, perfectly still at first, as though it had been standing there all along, watching. My chest seized, and I couldn't breathe. Its outline was human, but wrong. Too broad at the shoulders, arms that hung too long at its sides. Its head tilted slightly, curious, like it was studying me. And then it stepped forward. The sound wasn't footsteps, it was something softer, like flesh sliding over stone. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my body locked in place, frozen by something deeper than fear. like it had reached inside me and clenched my spine in its fist. It spoke without words. Not in sound, but in a feeling that bloomed in my skull, cold and invasive. "You came down." I wanted to scream, to deny it, but my lips wouldn't move. The thing tilted its head further, and I swear I saw the glow deepen around it, as though it were feeding off my terror. Then the boxes behind me toppled over, slammed down like a wall falling into place. I spun around. The stairs were gone. Where the door should have been, there was only more basement. Endless, stretching out into the red. And the thing in front of me was no longer standing still. It was coming. I ran. I don't even remember choosing to move. My body just tore itself free and bolted deeper into the basement's crimson expanse. The ground beneath me was no longer concrete. It was soft, spongy, like stepping on damp earth. Each step sank slightly, slowing me down, as though the basement itself wanted to keep me there. Behind me, the thing followed. I couldn't hear footsteps, but I felt it, its presence pressing against my spine, pushing the air from my lungs with every lurching motion it made. The red light seemed to grow darker the further I went, shadows twitching at the edges of my vision, stretching like claws reaching out. I stumbled into an open space where the glow pulsed brighter, and there it was. A door. An old wooden door, standing by itself in the middle of the room, not connected to any wall. Just there, waiting. I rushed toward it, grabbing the handle and yanking with all my strength. It didn't move. My hands slipped on the warm metal, and that's when I realized it wasn't just a door, it was breathing. The wood shuddered, expanding and contracting, like ribs under flesh. A wet, sucking sound echoed in the room, and I felt bile rise in my throat. My own reflection shimmered faintly on its surface, distorted, wrong, smiling when I wasn't. Behind me, the thing stopped. I could feel its eyes, or whatever it had, in the back of my skull. The silence that followed was worse than any noise. Slowly I turned. It was closer now. The outline of its face had taken shape, but it wasn't a face at all. No eyes, no mouth, just smooth skin stretching too tight over a head that was tilted downward, as if it were studying me. Its arms hung almost to the ground, fingers twitching slowly, scraping invisible grooves in the air. And then, without moving its lips, I heard it again. "Down here, you belong." The words filled my skull, sharp and final. My knees buckled. My body shook with a cold that felt like it was seeping into my bones. I wanted to fight it, to scream, to deny it. But the basement wasn't just a place anymore. It was alive, and it had already chosen me. I pressed my hands against the breathing door, pounding, begging it to open. My fists hit harder and harder until the wood split slightly, and a hand burst through from the other side. It wasn't a human hand. It was pale, skeletal, too many joints, its fingers curling around my wrist with inhuman strength. The pull was immediate, violent. I screamed as it dragged me forward, my body slamming against the door as it opened like a wound. The last thing I saw before I was swallowed into the darkness beyond was the faceless figure stepping closer, reaching out as if to guide me. And then, nothing. No light, no air, no escape. Just the basement, always the basement.
Subscribe to Horror Story Bar.